when it was recently revealed that Cambridge Analytica had managed to grab the Facebook data of millions of people and used the information it gathered inappropriately to construct psychological profiles which were utilized to influence elections. There were a few predictable reactions. The first was from the world of digital media itself, now wholly beholden to the social media giant for publicity and outreach. While publishing news of the leak by Cambridge Analytica, news media like Time and The Guardian were quick to argue that this was owing to an unethical practice they named data harvesting. Companies like Cambridge Analytica, they said, had taken advantage of Facebook's laxity to steal the private information of users and sell it to the highest bidder. Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook, in an interview given to CNN, and in full-page ads published in all major American newspapers, apologized for a breach of trust and promised to keep data safe in the future. In all of this there was an emphasis on what CNN's interviewer Lori Sagal called bad actors, who were exploiting Facebook's features allowing app developers to collect users and their friends' data to go as far as destabilizing election processes across the world. A visibly nervous Zuckerberg, spooked at least in part by sharp drops in his company's market capitalization and, by extension, his personal wealth, promised that Facebook would double the number of people working on review and security by the end of the year. But what remained unvoiced was a niggling doubt: of all the bad actors out there, could Facebook and the other big tech companies buy the biggest, baddest actors of them all? Surveillance Valley, Josh Levine's new book, posits an unsettling new thesis: the Internet, and all that isn't based on it, is not only a tool developed under the aegis of the U.S. military and intelligence agencies, but is also a worldwide surveillance network that clothes itself in the garb of individual freedom and apolitical technocratism. In the popular imagination, the story of the Internet is restricted to the creation of a data-sharing center at the National Science Foundation's NSF networking office by Stephen Wolfe in 1986. The NSF was a federal agency, and Wolfe's creation of the NSF-NET was a way to link the supercomputers of 5 universities to form the first public network of connected computers. Within the next 5 years the NSF-NET backbone connected 13 regional networks and 170 more colleges. The Internet, as we know it, was officially born with the privatization of the NSF-NET. There is a secret history of the Internet, however, which belies this heartwarming story of academic networks going commercial. What preceded the NSF-NET was, as Levine tells us, a convoluted story. Wade in deep enough and you find yourself in a swamp of 3-letter federal agencies, network protocol acronyms, government initiatives, and congressional hearings filled with technical jargon and mind-numbing details. But on a fundamental level it was very simple. After 2 decades of lavish funding and research and development inside the Pentagon system, the Internet was transformed into a consumer profit center. This consumer profit center is still massively beholden to the military intelligence complex that engendered it is the primary thrust of Levine's book. Cloaked and swaddled in libertarianism and radical revolutionary discourse, the Internet as we know it is thoroughly co-opted by all agencies of the state. Drawing on an immense trove of resources that go back to the 1950s, Levine has attempted to delineate this secret history in a way that is both easily accessible to lay readers, while still appending over 100 pages of notes that cite all his sources in great detail. Starting from the secretive Project Agila, the Vietnam War, and ending with the false promises of Internet privacy and freedom advanced by companies like Tor and Signal, Levine patiently deconstructs all the major narratives that make up the myth of the golden digital age. Right after Soviet Russia launched the first satellite, Sputnik, into space in 1957, the American President Dwight D. Eisenhower hired a new Secretary of Defense, Neil McElroy, a marketing expert and president of Procter. ARPA was supposed to be an organization that would cut through government red tape and create a public-private vehicle of pure military science to push the frontiers of military technology and develop vast weapon systems of the future. What ARPA effectively created, under the supervision of William Godel, was a vast data collection and storage agency that collated interviews, polls, population counts, detailed anthropological stats of various tribes, maps, available weapons, migration stats, social networks, agricultural practices, dossiers, out of ARPA centers in Vietnam and Thailand. Drowning in this immense treasure trove of data, the administrators of ARPA realized that they had to construct a system that was capable of handling all the information and presenting it with a simple graphic user interface and the ability to interact with other computers in real time. The first developers of ARPANET, J.C.R. Licklider, got this idea of a vast information processing network that functioned just like any organic of ecological system, from his association with the famous thinker and mathematician Norbert Wiener's ideas on cybernetics. Wiener, who was a distinguished professor at MIT, had